Hi, I'm Junius.
Junius bought an iPad Pro at the start of second sem, hoping to increase his chances to get into med school.
This is my review on the iPad Pro 1 semester later.
In this video, I'm going to share why this is the best investment I have made to aid my studying. Firstly, I will give my general thoughts.
Secondly, the features of an iPad Pro and why it's the ultimate device for students.
And lastly, some watchful tips for buyers.
Yeah. It was sleeker, bro. It's cool vibes.
Everything in this video was filmed by the iPad Pro except for when you can actually see the iPad Pro, of course. Please give this video a like and subscribe to convince me and my parents that what I'm doing isn't just a waste of time. If you have established that you want to make your bag lighter and have electronic notes, which would be especially helpful if you're doing a content-heavy course like medicine, I would recommend any device that has a dedicated stylus. If you intend to upgrade your laptop too, then I would recommend this Surface Pro. If you want an Apple device, then you pretty much have three options: the 2019 iPad, the 2019 iPad Air, and the 2018 iPad Pro, which is the one I have. If you want a device that does the job well and has the best returns to price ratio, then I would suggest the 2019 iPad. If you want something with a better processor and will last a bit longer, then I would recommend either the 2019 iPad or the 2018 iPad Pro. I would go for the Pro if you highly value reducing the friction for you to study. One of the key advantages of having an iPad or any device with a stylus is that all you need for a lecture is your iPad. You don't need to fiddle around with lecture slides or a course guide or textbooks even. When I had pen and paper, this is my notes for one subject. Yeah, it was really hard to find things, so an iPad you can just search everything up and it's real quick.
On my iPad, I got pretty much everything I need. I've got my entire course guide, lecture slides for when the course guide is suboptimal, and past papers which I can just write on directly. Another great feature is the ability to search things up. Say, superior vena cava. My handwriting isn't great, but something like this Notability app allows me to find what I need really quickly. And Notability makes moving notes around so easy. It makes organization a breeze.
Once you have selected a piece of text, you can edit the size and the color too.
The iPad isn't just good for taking notes. There are apps like this one, which is called Essential Anatomy 5, which help with anatomy. Say I wanted to understand the relationship between the caudate nucleus, putamen, and globus pallidus. I select the multiple selection mode and search out putamen and caudate nucleus. Then I isolate them and
Now say I want to take a photo of this so I won't forget and put it into my notes. So what I would do is take a screenshot of Essential Anatomy and just drag it onto my notes. Then I'll just crop it to the size I would want to and bang.
I'm not telling you to go out there and buy an iPad. In fact, I know so many people who don't have the fanciest laptop, they don't have an iPad, and they get much better grades than me. But owning an iPad may not actually be expensive as you think it may be. Let me explain. This was how I used to take notes. Yeah, this was an average lecture and it was 6 pages, back and front. And printing a page in black and white at the University of Auckland is 10 cents. Color, it's 20 cents. So let's do the math. Let me consult Mr. Ong on how to approach this problem.
Bar, can you please help me out with a math problem?
Yeah, why is that?
So it costs 10 cents per sheet of paper and we have 6 pieces of paper per lecture and we have 10 lectures a week, and roughly it's 24 weeks of lectures a year. And say I'm doing a professional degree, so it's going to take 5 years.
How much would it cost me?
I think it's 720, isn't it?
Not gonna lie, I do sometimes miss writing with a pen and paper. If you look at it from the standpoint of minusing 720 from the price of an iPad, the iPad doesn't really seem that expensive anymore. You add in all the extra features of an iPad, and it does seem like a logical purchasing decision. I haven't regretted my decision since, and it has been one of my best investments. So, if you're now convinced that you want to take electronic notes, then any device with a dedicated stylus should be all good. I've talked to people with convertibles and they really like what they have. If you're in the market for a laptop too, I recommend getting a Surface Pro because then you can pretty much do everything an iPad and a laptop can do without splashing out on two devices. But this is where the iPad Pro comes in clutch. It has made studying so much easier, so much more fun. It has essentially reduced the friction for me to study. Studying has not become something I have to do now. It's just something I feel like doing because writing on the iPad Pro is just so nice. Let's have a look. The latency, which pretty much means the lag between the Apple Pencil and the screen, is unnoticeable, so it really does feel like you're writing with pen and paper. And on the iPad Pro, you can do this.
Not to mention how optimized it is for students, such as split screen, making it smaller, shout out to Dan Chang, and slide over. Editing screenshots come in handy too. Double tap while it's off to make quick notes. There's 3-finger undo, 3-finger reader. If you have a Windows laptop, you can have a backup folder in Google Drive, and you can record lectures too.
What model do you have? I've got the 2018 iPad Pro, 11 inches, and 256 gigabytes of storage. Why that model? I actually did my research extensively before making my purchasing decision. You should have used that time to study so you would have got better grades anyways. Yes, Mom. I wanted an iOS device because I was curious. I was initially going to buy the iPad, but then I looked at it long term and realized that I wanted something that would last longer. So then it was between the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. I felt that the better processor, decreased latency, better camera, more efficient method of charging the Apple Pencil, USB-C, smaller bezels, better audio was worth the investment in the long run since I will be using it pretty much every day for 5 hours. And say as a result of buying the iPad Pro, I learned to make videos, photo editing, Chinese, graphic design, anatomy. It will add much more value to my life than the additional cost.
I got the 256 gigabyte model because I knew that the storage used would increase over time. I got the basic social media platforms, some random Chinese apps, and productivity apps. A couple games on there too, not to mention my notes. And overall, it's only taken just below 40 gigabytes of space, so I believe that the 64 gigabytes would be enough for some people. And as I intend to use this device for 5 years, storage isn't something I want to worry about.
Do you have a case? Yeah, I do have a case. It's a cheap one from AliExpress and it just attaches to the iPad magnetically. Do you have a keyboard? No, I don't have a keyboard for the iPad Pro. I would just use my laptop to type, and it's just really expensive and I didn't think it was necessary. So that's pretty much the end of the video. I hope you've taken away something and I've added value to your life in some way, because that's the goal of this video. And here are some bloopers of my dad to finish this video off.
Okay.
Should I buy the iPad Pro?
I do not know at all. Go and... Hold on, don't laugh. I do not know.
Should I buy...
Wait, maybe I have to wear my something to make me more... Go and ask Junius lah.
I hope you enjoyed that video.
And don't forget to do it the
Ong way.